Assalamualaikum and hi. So today me and my team would like to present our research on the title Exploring the Factor Behind Purchase Decision Amongst the University Student Towards Smartphone. But before we start, let me introduce me and my team. So my name is Mohammad Amirrul Faris Haqzim, and the second one Mohammad Imran Hafiz, and the third one Ariena Iman, and the last one Mohammad Izzuddin. I will focus on chapter 1 and chapter 2. So let's get started with the chapter 1 introduction. So introduction. The objective of the study to investigate the factor behind purchase decision among university students towards smartphone. The study focused on smartphone brand, the dependency of the student towards smartphone, price, and the product feature of the phone that affect the purchase decision among university students. So next, background of the study. These thesis will be undertaken to study the relationship between variable and the buying decision of government and private sector university students. Next, problem statement. So there is 4 problem statements. So the first one, in terms of its technology, creativity and architecture, the mobile market is ever changing. New smartphone models are often launched to keep a competitive edge in the industry. Second, he has agreed that smartphone technology is changing human behavior, particularly young adults, and the survey are still adequate. Azan Osman 2012. The third one, in comparison, there was substantial and significant variation in the telecommunication sector. Depending on the industry competitive edge, new smartphone models are released on this market every time. So the last one, there is a lack of understanding of user habit attitude towards smartphone use, particularly young adults. Next, research objective. So the first one, to investigate the purchase decision of university students towards smartphone. So the second one, to examine the relationship between brand, dependency, price and product feature toward purchase decision. And the last one, to determine whether brand, dependency, price and product feature can affect purchase decision of university students towards smartphone. And the last one, research question. The first one, is there any significance of brand to a purchase decision? Second, is there any significance of dependency to a purchase decision? Third, is there any significant price to a purchase decision? And the last one, is there any significant product feature to a purchase decision? Chapter 2, Literature Review. Brand. Brand are real property that correspond to the nature of the product and represent the exact structure of the knowledge relating to the brand in bracket product. In Chow et al. 2012, Srinivasan and Tilsite. An organization is more than a site or a name. The company name gives an aside to the essence of the service it offers from the consumer perspective. If the client is satisfied with the advertised product, he will provide feedback with words and other customers can affect the purchasing of the item. Brand have a greater influence than men's customer on women. Azan and Safai 2012. Dependency. The persistent and in-depth usage and the failure to hold it up relies on something. Ding et al. 2011. Smartphones are not only a traditional talk or call telephone. They use mobile phone for a wide variety of purposes, including shopping, emailing, documentation, gaming, and photo sharing and social networking. Malaysians are estimated to use smartphones for internet access about 20 hours a week. Research has shown that a high level of mobile dependence may lead to martial challenge as a texting become a common method. Colombian LEA AG 2013. Price. The price, social impact, brand name of a mobile phone are also affected by consumer buying decisions. In addition, innovative feature, after-sales service and multimedia factor also have a major influence on consumer buying decision. Hosan, MD and Rahman, MD Mustafur and Jahad Nusrat 2018. Others found that after purchase, brand and customer play a major role in pleasing customer, but the cost of the equipment is greater than other factors. Hanif et al. 2009. Price is a key factor for decision to purchase consumer impact. In 2013, RM200 were provided to the people aged 20 and 30 with monthly return below RM3,000 by the Malay government. The Star 2013. Product feature. Features of the product are the characteristics of the product that meet the degree of the product creation, implementation, and usage the consumer wants and desire. Armstrong Gary Kotler 2007. Further features such as sensor and the weight of the handset affect user decision making. We know an additional variable inspiring color and reach. Freshbird 2007. Research framework. As you can see, brand, dependency, price, and product features to purchase decision. Research hypothesis. Hypothesis 1. There is a positive impact between brand and purchase decision. Hypothesis 2. There is a positive impact between dependency and purchase decision. Hypothesis 3. There is a positive impact between price and purchase decision. And the last one, there is a positive impact between product feature and purchase decision. Hi, back again with me, Amirrul Faris. So I will continue chapter 3, which is research methodology. So in this chapter, we include an in-depth description of the method used in conduct of the study and answer the study in chapter 1. So there are some techniques that we use to conduct our research. The first one, research design. The study will be conducted by use of conclusive research design, inclusive of descriptive and casual research as well. Next, sampling technique. The sampling technique that we choose to conduct this study is a non-problematic method, which is convenience sampling. So there are three techniques that we use, which is population, sample size, and unit of analysis.
Okay, for the data collection procedure, we use journal and article. According to the International Journal of Business and Management, data collection is a method of collecting and reviewing information on a target variables in existing framework, which then helps one to answer specific questions and analyze result. And then the second one, we use questionnaire, and then this questionnaire is through Google Forms, which helps to collect all the data about variables tested in the research. And for the validity of instrument, in the purpose of this test, it is important to know the way in which the validity of the test should be tested. Okay, I will explain more on the demographic profile, and then for this section, the purpose is to present and evaluate the data collected from questionnaires from the Google form distributed among respondents of 208 individuals. And then this research is using statistical package for social science tool or known as SPSL, which these tools helps to solve variety research problem, that making it easier to manage the data and the output data. Okay, for this part, it is to show the summary of respondent background data among Malaysia university students, and this section was designed to get the respondents' personal information, and it is very useful to help the research gain information model. The demographic in this demographic, it has 5 questions, which is gender, age, races, education level, and university. Then there are 2 questions related to behavioral pattern analysis. Okay, the first pie chart shows regarding the respondent of gender, and then it shows that percentage of respondent background based on the questionnaire collected by researcher. There are, as you can see, 38 frequency equal to 66.3% female respondent, and then 70 frequency and 33.7% male respondent for this research in the sector of gender. And then for the age, based on this figure, the highest percentage of age are around 21 to 24 years old, which is the frequency is 183 and then equal to 88%. And then the second highest is below 21 years old, which is 9.1%, and then the lowest is respondent between 36 and above, which is 1 frequency equal to 0.5%. This one is for the respondent of age. And then for this pie chart, it represents the respondents of races, and it can be seen that the highest are Malay, which is 201, equal to 96.6%. Meanwhile, the other races are such as Melanau and Luna Bawang and so on. And then next, for the respondent education, for this education, the highest respondents that comes from bachelor's degree holder with percentage of 168, equal to 80.8%, followed by diploma 38, equal to 18.3% respondents, and master degree 1, equal to 0.5%. The highest average among university, as you can see, Malaysia UiTM, which is 20, equal to 64.5%. Behavioral pattern analysis, this one is to find out how product photography advertisement impact consumer attention and their buying behavioral purchasing. Okay, for this one, the graph, the statement is asking respondent about where do they get the information from. Okay, based on a figure, it is found that the most respondents get the information from is social media, such as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, which is 78.4%, followed by the internet websites, 70.2%. This is because social media enables relationships to form between users from different backgrounds. Okay, for this part, as you can see, this is actually the statement asking respondent which brand of smartphone are they currently used. And then as you can see, the figure, the result is the most frequent smartphone brand that respondent use is actually Apple brand, which is representing 56.7%. Followed by Oppo 12%, Samsung 11.5%, Huawei 9.6%, and lastly others 13.9%. Others consist brand of Realme, OnePlus, Xiaomi, and many more. These explained why Apple is so highly regarded. On the surface, it's so obvious that the company manufactures famous goods with a generous margin.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Imran Hafiz, and in this research report, I'll be talking about the reliability analysis, the central tendencies measurement of construct, and the correlation matrix. First, let's start with the reliability analysis. In order to make sure the research results are valid, the measurement items need to be reliable and applicable. In our research exploring the factors behind purchase decision among students towards smartphones, Chromebox Alpha was used to test the variables in this reliability analysis. The alpha reliability coefficient of Chromebox typically varies between 0 and 1. There is currently no lower bound to the coefficient. The closer the alpha coefficient of Chromebox is to 1.0, the greater the internal accuracy. A general rule of thumb is that if the alpha coefficient range is less than 0.5, the strength of association is unacceptable. If it is more than 0.5, it is poor. If it is more than 0.6, it is questionable. If it is more than 0.7, it is acceptable. If it is more than 0.8, it is good. And if it is more than 0.9, it is excellent. For our research, all values of Chromebox Alpha for our variables are 0.6 and above, which means that it has resulted in a majority of acceptable variables and one questionable variable, which is price. However, we choose to accept these variables because it is higher than 0.5. Next, we move on to the central tendencies measurement of construct. For brand, the statement which scored the highest mean at 4.06 is I care about how other people judge me based on the smartphone I use. This means respondents resonate with the statement the most when it comes to the reason why they care about brand before purchasing a smartphone. For dependency, the statement which scored the highest mean at 4.55 is I feel anxious when my smartphone is not with me. This means respondents relate with this statement the most when it comes to the reason of how much they are dependent of smartphones. For price, the statement which scored the highest mean at 4.40, which I consider the price mainly when I decide to buy a smartphone. This means respondents resonate with the statement the most when it comes to the reason to why they care about how much a smartphone costs before purchasing one. For product features, the statement which scored the highest mean is 4.66, which is I prefer a smartphone equipped with a good sound system. This means when buying a smartphone, respondents look for one with high quality sound when it comes to product features. For purchase decision, the statement which scored the highest mean at 4.53 is I will consider the price of smartphones before I purchase it. This means when buying a smartphone, respondents care about the price the most. Next, let's talk about the correlation matrix. According to the correlation analysis table, all the independent variables have a positive relationship towards the purchase decision for smartphone as the Pearson correlation value is perfect and not below 0.000. The correlation analysis is to determine whether the independent variables have a strong relationship with the dependent variable. According to the correlation analysis table, the strongest relationship a variable has with purchase decision is product features at 0.600. Next is dependency at 0.525. And although brand and price have a weak relationship with purchase decision at 0.88, it is still a positive relationship. That's all from me. I will send it off to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Mohammad Izzuddin. So right now I'm going to talk about the multiple regression model. The purpose of this multiple regression model is to identify the strength of the relationship between the behavior among student university towards the smartphone. This multiple regression model consists of three, which is the first one is the model summary, the second one is ANOVA, and the third one is coefficient. So for the first one is model summary. As you can see on the model summary table above, it is shown that the R square is 0.71, which is 47.1% contribute to the factor of smartphone, which is brand, price dependency, and product features towards the purchase decision of the university students. Meanwhile, the 42.9% influenced by other factors that are included in this study research. For example, the color, the sizing of the phone, and others. After that, we move to the ANOVA. The purpose of ANOVA is to evaluate whether the dependent variable are central to all the independent variable. Therefore, the ANOVA table indicates the extent of the significance. Compared to the table shown above, it is clear that variable buying decision is dependent where the outcome is all on the independent variables, including the price, the brand, the product features, and the dependency. Because it is 0.00, this is because the rule do not reach the 0.01 in order to become the relevant. Okay, for the last part is the coefficient. The rule of the coefficient is must be less than 0.05 for all the independent variables. Based on our research, all the independent variables has a positive impact because all of them has less than 0.05. So that means that brand has 0.13, and for the dependency is 0.02. For the product features has 0.000, and for the last one is price has 0.18. That means that there is significant relationship between all the independent variables, which is brand, price, dependency, and product features on purchase decision. And the hypothesis is accepted. Hi, so right now we're gonna talk about the chapter 5, which is the conclusion and recommendation. For the first one is summary on major finding. The purpose of this research was to explore the variable behind smartphone purchase decision among university students. In specific, this study examined the relationship between the smartphone brand, price, dependency, and also product features. Data was acquired and analyzed nationwide, and we collect around 208 respondents. After that, the four hypotheses were presented, which is brand, dependency, price, and also product features and smartphone toward the purchase decision. And all the hypothesis is accepted because it has a positive impact based on the coefficient table, which is less than 0.05. After that, we move to the recommendation. But the fourth one is smartphone manufacturer can emphasize the brand name when marketing smartphone to the student. In addition, it is to attract students, and brand managers should develop a strong loyalty scheme for their current client. After that, smartphone can evolve in order for students to concentrate on transition. For example, the new features to make user dependent on the smartphone are warning, routine recommendation, and contact list, especially for students working on the class. The third one is smartphone companies do not focus much on pricing strategies. However, smartphone manufacturer can use value-based pricing, which is strategy that set price based on the perceived value the customer has about it. And the last one is smartphone manufacturer should analyze when features users require, such as better high camera quality, better and quicker operating system, smart and lighter architecture. Especially for the camera, students buy the phone to use the social media, especially to photography, and it attracts more students to buy their smartphone. Okay, then we move to the implication of the study. This study can conclude that the decision to buy is positively related to the brand, dependency, price, and product features. Present research was not without its drawbacks. No causal relation between the variable could be inferred given the existence of the cross-section review of the sample. Future studies should rely on experimental architecture in order to provide further proof of potential causation between these factors. As such, the finding may not as applicable to other Malaysian people, which as the working class. As a result, the test is different samples around the nation are required to increase the generalizability of the data. The last one for the chapter 5 is conclusion. In conclusion, the present study helps one to consider the importance of the brand dependency, price, and product features of university students on smartphone purchasing decision. Future tests needs to be performed to investigate other factors that could influence the smartphone purchase decision. In short, the result of this study has demonstrated that it is very important for smartphone vendors to understand what the determined impact university student purchase of smartphone, because they represent future core smartphone consumer. It is also a key raising to their own market share within the same market sector.